Hi there, my name is Ron Rogers, and this presentation is titled Tales of United States Air Force Water Survival Training and my experience with the attack of a giant jellyfish. Okay, we were in the Air Force. We operated airplanes off of runways, and around the runways typically was dirt. We were not like the Navy. In the Navy, they operated runways that would be around water typically because they'd be on boats or ships. And, if you go off the end of that, you got a problem. You're in the water and you have to deal with that. In the Air Force out at like Enid, Oklahoma, Enid by the Sea as we called it, although it certainly wasn't. That was kind of a humorous aside for us who lived out there. But if you went off the end, the worst thing you had to deal with was encounter of a sagebrush. So, okay, in the Navy, they put you in these dunk tanks. They turn you upside down. You're all strapped in. You have to unstrap. You have to get out, stuff like that. Well, the Air Force is much more gentlemanly, at least on our initial water survival. What we had to do was we had to go to the top of the diving board. We had a harness on. We had to jump off into the water and unbuckle from the harness. Okay, that really wasn't difficult, except when you're in the water, it's a little hard to see where everything is, so you have to do that and you have to get off. Now, of course, classes stuck together. We had a lot of class camaraderie, and we had one of the guys there, quite a character actually, who got up there on the diving board and refused to jump. Well, the sergeant told him, you don't jump, you wash out. And he was threatening that he would be washed out. And guy wasn't jumping. So we decided, well, we're not going to lose one of our classmates. So we started up the ladder, and about the time we got to the top of it, he decided to go. And that's good because later he flew F-4s, F-15s, and then went with a nice career at FedEx. Now, once you got your wings and that, now you got the full-fledged course, and we went down to Homestead Air Force Base. This was back in the late, actually mid-70s, before it was destroyed years later by a hurricane. But we had a couple little fun things. They would put you on this PT boat that was going very fast, and you're off the back end, and you're two of you side by side, and you're hanging about 10 feet in the water, and this thing's going fast. And you're just hanging, and you're just hanging. Then all of a sudden, the instructor releases you. You fall the 10 feet, you hit the water. And the deal was, now this person isn't being drugged. It's a still picture, so they've got a lot easier. But we were being drugged, and you ended up on your back when you went, and you had to flop over and then be drugged face up. And you give them the thumbs up, and then they release you, and a boat comes and picks you up. All right, fun times. Parasailing. Well, we go out to Hawaii. My wife wants to go parasailing, and I go, no, I've already gone parasailing. We did that. We did that in the Air Force, and well, it's not quite the same thing. So yeah, we went parasailing out at Hawaii so she could see what it's like. But what they do is, just like in the commercial operations, they take you off a boat and you go up in a parasail. And the deal is that you're coming down, you're going to land in water. So you go up under the parasail for a while. That's nice. And then they give you a signal and you release yourself and you float down into the water. Well, the deal is you get down the water, you got your little two-man raft there, and you pull yourself up into the raft. And once you get situated in the raft, there's a little boat that comes around, you give them a thumbs up, so everything's fine. So I'm sitting in the raft, everything's fine. Well, you got a few things to do when you're sitting in the raft, and one thing is you got to pull in your survival kit, and there's a little lanyard, so I start pulling in the survival kit. And I knew about down in Florida, southern Florida, about the dangers of jellyfish. I'd seen the signs up there. I'd seen people ignore them. I've seen people get stung by them, not pleasant. So I knew about jellyfish, and I knew that they were not something you really wanted to contend with. So I'm pulling in my survival kit, and I'm seeing this giant jellyfish that is rapidly coming right towards me. And oh my gosh, what is it? This thing's attacking me, and it's just coming right towards me. So I stop pulling in the survival kit, and it stops. What a coincidence. So I pull the survival kit lanyard a little bit. It starts coming towards me. I stop pulling. It stops. All right, this is very curious. Well, there was this other thing I had forgotten about. It's called a sea anchor. It supposedly keeps you from drifting with the wind as much. And it looks like a pilot chute. And that was the jellyfish that I perceived I was being attacked by. So Okay, I calmed down there. That was fine. All right, so we get in this luxurious two-man raft, which really only, I don't know why they call it two-man, because it really only fits one man. But we get in that, and we got our toys, we got the radio and stuff like that. So now, you were shot down, or for some reason you bailed out, you got in the water, you got in your raft, and you had a nice little fun time sitting there. Now the rescue helicopter comes, and they're going to pick you up. Well, they make a big point about, this thing has to touch the water. When I went to land survival school, they said, let that penetrator touch the ground because it can pick up a big static charge. And if you try to intercept it midair, you're going to get knocked on your posterior. Well, the other interesting thing about being picked up by a helicopter like this, I mean, yeah, this is kind of fun. You get on, they drop the penetrator there and you're supposed to swim on over to it. The helicopter is, moving a lot of air downwards, and it's hitting that salt water, and it is getting you in the face, and it really, really stings. So you get on that thing, you pull up, you go a little swirling as you go up, and then they pull you into the helicopter, and they say, hold on to this thing, don't do anything till we get you inside and unstrap you, because they've had people that try to let go too early, and you fall out of the helicopter back down to the ocean, and you can imagine that is not a very pleasant thing to do at all. And then they had one other fun aspect. Look at this kid. He's having a fun time. He's doing ziplining. Well, we did ziplining too. My wife never asked to go ziplining, so I was safe on this. But they had this big tower, and you got on it, and as you went down, a little different apparatus than this. You went down the tower for a little bit, and then the thing released, and you dropped down about 10, 15 feet, something like that. And it was supposed to simulate opening shock. Well, I'd been a skydiver, so I knew what opening shock felt like. It's supposed to simulate that. And then it ends up dropping you in the water. Well, okay, that's fine. Now we got that little experience. So that was basic water survival. You go through that initially. And then I needed to do Recurrent, and we went out to Edwards Air Force Base. Okay, you really need water survival in the middle of the Mojave Desert. You really have to work hard to enter up in water, and they actually had a very brackish pond that we went out to. I mean, you looked at that water and you go, I don't even want to get near this water. But that was their water survival. Finally, they upgraded it. I was gone by the time, but they took people up to Lake Isabella, which was, much, much nicer. That was up north, and they had the water survival up there. So that is a quick and dirty on the fun and joys of initial Air Force water survival training and the dangers of jellyfish down in Florida. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.